So you're asking me why I wrote a book on heartbreak. Well, heartbreak is something that should happen to everybody once in your life, at least. So it's really a lesson from nature, and it's incredibly painful. Heartbreak are dangerous. They are somatically dangerous. They can, bring you to the emergency room. It's a catastrophe, and in fact, it's equivalent to torture in the brain. When you're feeling the first pangs of heartbreak, it's as if you're being under torture. And it's also one of the things that we should take really good care of, because it makes it's present in most of the violent acts. There's a heartbreak in schools. The adolescent who takes the gun and starts shooting, they all 100% had a heartbreak, rejection. So it's something that doesn't receive enough attention. And when I say heartbreak, I mean mourning, heartbreak about any kind of loss. The whole question of loss. In this culture, if somebody becomes a widow or widower, you get 1 week. It's very dangerous and costly. That person will be depressed, needs to mourn, is probably sick, the immune system goes down. So it's a topic that I found had received very little attention from psychology, and now that neuroscience is showing how it happens in the brain and how you can surmount it, I wanted to really use all of the resource of psychology, because medication can take care only of the somatic aspect. The way out of a heartbreak is a deep, deep understanding of our myth of love, and we need to evolve this myth of, I want my needs taken care of is so primitive in a way that our myth of love needs to evolve, and being abandoned or rejected often teaches us the lesson we need to learn about love.
Do you think in other cultures, or maybe ancient cultures, as a society, we had the space for
yes,
to feel that?
Yes. I think the Buddhists had it. I think the Greeks had it. They had, for one, they had many, many words for love. We have only, I love you, and I love my car, and I love chocolate. So they had many, many words, and a much deeper understanding of the emotion of love, separating it from sensuality, love between friends, love between parents and children. There are many, many kinds of love. So I think it's about time that we pay attention to those nuances and take care of people who are undergoing loss of, because when you think of it, if you lose your job, or you lose your partner to death, or because he leaves and says, I don't love you, bye-bye, you lose that person, but you also lose the person you were with this person, and you lose the person you were for that person. And these are 3 different identities. And it's the same if you lose your job. And we're in a culture right now, lots of people are experiencing the loss of a professional identity. Let's say you were doing that job for 40 years, and then they say, I'm sorry, but company is folding and here's the pink slip. You lose the person you were for that company, with the colleagues, the person you thought of yourself, your identity, and the person you were, and the competence you had doing this thing that you knew how to do. So it's a lot, and it makes you sick. So we don't pay enough attention to all kinds of losses and how to deal with them. And medication again takes care only of the limbic, the emotional aspect of loss, but not what we need to learn, which is much more wisdom, kind of wisdom around relationship, and it can be developed young, but we need to have those ideas, and that's what I love about depth psychology. It gives you those profound ideas about relationship and love that allows you to go beyond the loss and the heartbreak.
But for this culture to make that, to bring that into consciousness, would be even to start, changing the language.
The language, yes.
And start from there, because, like you said, the Greeks had so many words for
yes.
love, and here in the United States, we only, or in the English
yes.
language, we only have love,
yes.
and that's it.
That's it. But some research are bringing us that language. For example, distinguishing between need and attachment and dependence. When you're a baby, you love your parents because you absolutely need them for survival. This is not human love. This is need. This is your need. You're dependent for your survival. When we grow up, we're supposed to be less dependent and capable of attachment, which is not, I need you, I need you, I need you. It's supposed to be a capacity to relate outside of need. So psychology has always tried to make those distinctions, but I do think that neuroscience today is helping us find those new words. And so that's why, in the book I wrote on heartbreak, I wanted to look at what is it that neuroscience is saying that depth psychology, Jungian psychology, archetypal psychology has been saying for 30 years. So where is it that there's an agreement between, the scientist, and the same is true, with the Dalai Lama working with scientists and trying to compare what is it that Buddhism understands that scientists understand about the functioning of the brain. So psychology is getting there today, and the only way to get over a heartbreak includes taking care of the panic, which is an animal feeling, and also becoming wiser, which cannot be given in a pill.
So in a way, is your book a way of bringing, the science and neuroscience
Yes.
together?
For lay people, those who are not necessarily scientists and don't read specialized theories about the brain, but to understand what's going on in the brain when you experience loss is very, very important. Otherwise, you stay in your panic. You believe this is always going to be that crazy. I will always be, sending emails. Why are you not coming back to me? I love you so much. It's a panic. And if you don't understand that you're hooked on the other, like you're hooked on drugs, it's the same thing as an addiction to a drug. So you have to understand what's happening in your body. A love addiction is an addiction. It's not love. It's an addiction. So if you don't understand what's happening in the body, you don't understand how love and heartbreak can make you completely crazy and dangerous. Murders are often triggered by guys who kill their wives. They end up in prison and they say, I don't know what got into me. So it's very important to understand the physiological, neurological aspect of heartbreak.
But there's almost nothing that is talking about that. I mean, the subject that you're talking about.
Well, that was my surprise too. That's why I wrote that book. I thought, why are we not, paying more attention to these adolescents in school who've been rejected and then turn out against an employee that is fired after 30 years of good service, comes back and kills. These are happening more and more, so we need to understand those destructive emotions that can imprison you.
But what about in France? I mean, in your experience, is there a space for that heartbroken, yes. Is there a space for that, or to mourn a loss, or
Well, you have a longer vacation for one.
yeah?
I don't want to compare, this is better than that, because each culture has their strengths and their um, faults. But I think in general, we need to bring together the language of neuroscience and the language of philosophy, wisdom, meditation, so that you understand what's going on in the brain, what's going on in the body, and how to deal with those destructive emotions when they hit you. So that's in the book Heartbreak. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.